What is going on, reptile geeks? So for this video, this is something that I never thought of this would ever come to my mind, you know, at all, for keeping reptiles for as long as I can remember. But I think it's been circulating in my head for a little while, and I think it is time that I share with you guys what I think is probably going to happen this year for 2025. And it's not an easy decision to make, but at the same time I feel like it's got to be the best thing for not only for my animals but also for me as well. So for about at least probably a decade now, I have been keeping snakes, you know, because they're just such an amazing animal to have. When I first purchased my own first captive snake several years ago from a breeding facility, it really was so awesome. And, you know, I kind of felt like when I purchased, you know, my first captive snake, I think that's when my vision of me being a snake breeder actually was born. Because then a few months later, me and my mom, we went to a reptile show down in Grand Rapids, and I got another snake a couple months later. And that's when I got Ariel, and I still have her to this day, and she's just absolutely awesome. Same for Tyson. I bought him from BHV Reptiles. I kind of wanted to slowly keep that collection growing, and that's when I started getting a few more animals. Apparently, my good friend of mine then a year later donated his children's python to me. That brought my snake total up to, I think, like 4 or 5. Then that same year, that following summer, I actually rescued my garter snake Lucy, her mom, because where her mom was living the land was getting demolished, and her mom had nowhere to go. And if I even relocated her, you know, just like down the street or something, she was very likely gonna just find her way back there. So I brought her back to my place for a couple weeks until she gave birth, and that's when I met Lucy. So then that brought my total, I believe, yeah, that brought my total to 5 snakes then. And then fast forward a few years later, that's when I purchased another albino garter snake. And then a year later, my dad took me to the Tinley Park Reptile Show, which for years was something for several years is what I wanted to go, because it was such an awesome reptile show, and it's considerably the largest one in the country. And when I went there for the first time ever, I purchased my snow corn snake Frosty from that show, and that brought my total officially to 7. And here we are 2 years later, I'm still exactly at that number. That comes with a price though, when you add more animals into your collection. You know, when I had like 2 or 3 snakes, you know, taking care of them was no big deal. It was pretty easy. It was very easy. And then when I got up to when I brought that total up to 5, it started to become a bit of a challenge. But it wasn't as difficult still. You know, it was pretty easy to keep monitoring of all, you know, their feeding schedules. Very, very easy with no issue. But then when I brought my total then up to 7, that's where it started becoming a bit of a bigger, difficult challenge. It was becoming more challenging. You know, over the last year, at least a year, on a few occasions I have forgotten to feed a couple of my animals on the days that they were scheduled to be fed. Even though some people might think, well, that's no big deal. If you just miss it only once, you know, on a specific day, you know, that's no big deal. You can try and again the next time that they are due to eat. You know, when it kind of happens, you know, to your animals often, you know, it's kind of important, you know, because it's a commitment that I have put in. You know, it's something I wanted to do. But I feel like with the price for caring for my animals, you know, all, you know, these enclosures and stuff, and these heat bulbs, you know, like the heating bill, like the price for items just within the last few years has gone up really a lot. The price for feeding these animals is also not too cheap either. I'm gonna cut to the chase. For a little while I have been having some thoughts on the future of my animals in the room, and I have talked to my mom, and I have decided, starting this coming spring, or hopefully it'll happen this year. It sounds like it probably is going to happen, I should put it that way, is I am going to be actually donating a couple of my animals to a local zoo not too far away from here. Now, yes, I know that is a little surprising to hear that, to think, well, why would you want to go ahead and donate a couple of your animals? And that, as I said it already, you know, the cost for carrying so many of them here in my room, it's not cheap at all. And the amount of heat that I'm using for all these animals is also very expensive. And the cost of food is, and right now my budget, myself, you know, I've been working at my local hospital for about 4 or 5 years now, but I feel like my budget, you know, it's still very tight. It's not too much money, and I feel like it's time to maybe try to come up with an idea of what I need to do in order to help save money. Just recently, I have decided that I think that is going to be the best option, to donate a couple of my animals. Now, the only question is like, which animals am I going to be able to actually donate that will be taken care of better? You know, because the zoo that I have been to before, you guys may not remember it, they actually have staff that volunteer that work there. They do work very, very hard to take care of all the animals there, including their reptiles. They do have snakes there on display as well, and they do a great, great, great job of taking care of them. And I feel like my animals that I'm going to be donating, I feel like they would actually be having a better life there. I feel like the zoo there, with so many people that come to visit there, they make a good amount of money, then they also get enough, they'll spend enough money to actually have the right supplies to take care of all their animals, including their reptiles, so they can have the quality of food, also of lighting, the light sources that are needed to actually keep these animals healthy and active. I know this is very, very weird that I'm bringing this up, but you know, sometimes I have to figure out, you know, what's not just best for me, but what's also best for my animals too. I feel like the best thing to do for both me and a couple of my animals is to move them on to a better place to live. Right now, since the zoo is actually closed, since it's winter time, I'm probably gonna wait until spring to try and reach out to them to see if they'd be interested in taking in a couple of my animals. There's a chance they probably will, because they have taken in a couple of animals of ours several years ago. We used to have a couple of bunny rabbits. We reached out to them if they'd be willing to take them in, and they absolutely did right away. This is just something that might happen, but I'll give you guys an update further down the road on that when springtime comes around, when we reach out to these guys at the zoo to see if they actually agree to take them in or not. But yeah, this was something that I never really thought it would ever come to this, you know, because I really love all my animals that I own, but at the same time, when it comes to the budget, you know, and especially with how tight my budget is here with my life, trying to, you know, make a living, it's very hard right now. I feel like the best thing to do is maybe try to find a new home for my animals, make sure, you know, that maybe they'll be taken well care of, but also to help me save a little money. But for now, I haven't decided officially which couple of my animals I will be thinking about donating, but I will let you guys know down the road soon. Sometimes you just gotta figure out what's best for both you and your passion. I'll keep you guys posted down the road, but I will see you guys in the next one.